Hello world, it is I, the Mystic Philosopher. And of course, you are once again tuned to the right number, the Mystic Philosopher. Let me also welcome you to another of my video presentations in the series titled The Redemption from the Curse of the Black Spell. This presentation is titled A Picture is Worth More Than 1,000 Words, Part 6. It is the continuation of my response to the YouTube video titled What Did Jesse Duplantis Say About Black People? If you haven't yet watched or listened to my critique and analysis of his sermon in my earlier video titled A Response to What Jesse Duplantis Say About Black People, I ask that you please do so now or please do so at your earliest convenience. By doing so, you will get a much better understanding of this video and those that will follow. Also, if you haven't watched part 1 of this presentation titled A Picture is Worth More Than 1,000 Words, from part 1 to part 5, I strongly suggest or strongly recommend that you please do so as well. If this is the first time that you might be watching or listening to any of my YouTube videos, I ask that you check out all the rest of my videos that are here on this channel called The Right Number, the Mystic Philosopher. I can almost guarantee and assure you that if you are indeed serious and honest, or if you are seriously and honestly interested in getting another perspective on many topics, many subjects, topics or subjects that some people called or may think of as being what they call controversial, some of which you might have just taken for granted, things that you might have just taken for granted, things that you might have just accepted as truth, having been taught for all your life by the system and society that they are true. And some things, some of which you might not even seriously thought about by yourself. Well, if that is the case, then here is the channel that you might want to be tuned to. Here's a channel that you should be tuned to and stay tuned to. You're at the right place. You're at the right number with the Mystic Philosopher. In this presentation and those that will follow, I will continue to decode, critique, analyze, evaluate, and comment on most, and if time permits, possible all the still images that are in the YouTube video that the YouTube video titled What Did Jesse Duplantis Say About Black People? So as customary, and to begin this presentation, please let me begin by reminding you of the old adage, which states that, and I quote, a picture is worth 1,000 words, unquote. But I, the Mystic Philosopher, have taken the liberty and say that a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. I ask that you please take a very close and good look at the image or the picture that is on your screen. And I'm sure, very sure, that no doubt if you are really and truly a natural native earthly human, and especially if you are a natural native earthly human that is of high melanin content or high melanin or carbon skin, and if you are a descendant of the victims of the Black Caucasians' transatlantic slave trade, and above all, if you are a natural native earthly human that is not completely under the Black Caucasians' black spell, the Black Caucasians' religions and their religious hypnotic trance, I'm sure that just looking at this image would make you feel sick, if not make you become sick to the stomach, to the point of vomiting. By now you should know that it too is taken from the very religious video and the very religious sermon that I am decoding and critiquing, called "What Did Jesse Duplantis Say About Black People?" This image I call "The Perverted Minds, Sexual Activities, Rape and Abuse of the Religious and Black Caucasians Exposed." Again, let me repeat. It is called, this image is labeled "The Perverted Minds, Sexual Activities, Rape and Abuse or Abuses of the Religious and the Black Caucasians Exposed." And why? It is because that is what is being depicted, and that is said in far more than 1,000 words by looking at this image. From my perspective, anyone that look at this image, especially looking at it in the preacher's Jesse Duplantis and his convert and video maker LP like Paul sermon or video, and think, looking at it and think or believe that it is designed and strategically placed there to advance the status of my natural native earthly humans, my ancestors and my people today, that the preacher falsely and otherwise called the black people, is not only dumb and stupid, but it is, in every sense of the word, truly a black person. Another fact that I would like to point out here, and one that I have mentioned before, is that Satan, the chief black one, and the commander and chief of the black Caucasians, along with his legions of black ones, the devil, they are no ordinary cons. Let me repeat that the black Caucasians, and especially the very distinguished religious black Caucasians among them, and their converts, appointees, anointed ones, inductees, and their representatives from all other races of people, are no ordinary cons. In fact, I suggest that you avoid their conversations at all cost, for you can't win them. They are expert liars and cons of the magnitude that is incompatible to us, the natural native earthly humans. They will con you into seeing that which is not there to see, or that which is simply not there. They will con you into seeing that which is not there, and they will also con you into not seeing that which is right before your eyes. These devils will con you into doubting, mistrusting, and disbelieving your own mother nature's given physical senses and latent intelligence, that even when they are caught, even when you see them with your own eyes in the act of committing the most heinous crimes, atrocities, and violence against you, against your ancestors, against our natural native earthly humanity, against our fellow natural native earthlings, and against our Mother Earth, they will con you and have you think that they are doing you good. They will con you into thinking and believing that whatever they are doing to you is being done to you in the name of the Lord. That it is God's will. That it is being done to you by them, and above all, that it is for your own good even when they are literally killing, robbing, raping, and maiming you. Even when they are literally sucking the lifeblood out of your veins, like the world's most deadliest vampire bats, they will con you into believing that they are righteous, that they are upright, that they are the epitome of morality and moral goodness, fairness, peace, and justice. Even when they are literally sucking the lifeblood out of your veins like the world's most deadliest vampire bats, and you are withering away like plants that are deprived of soil and water, they will con you into believing that they are white, that they are holy, and that you, their victims, are the black ones, that you, their victims, are the sinners, and that they are your superior, that their God is your savior, etc., and that you should only trust them. And I can guarantee you that the image that you are now looking at right now on your screen, that these two converts, the preacher Jesse Duplantis and his video maker LP Like Paul, they will tell you with their faces as straight as an arrow that it is not what it appears to be, and that it is not what you are seeing. And the sad thing is that many of you would believe them instead of your believing your own senses or your own intelligence. Please take a much closer look at this image and tell I, the Mystic Philosopher, what does a disgusting, abominable, abhorring, and perverted image like this has to do with being associated with my people, being associated with my ancestors, the natural native earthly human, and us, their descendants today, that this preacher falsely, contemptuously, and otherwise called the black people, save for propaganda and disrepute by this preacher and his accomplice LP Like Paul. What does an image like this have to do, or has to do, with so-called holiness, righteousness, deliverance from sin, salvation, going to heaven or eternal life, etc.? Tell me. Tell I, the Mystic Philosopher. From my perspective, only a sexual pervert, a psychopath, a mentally corrupt individual, an evil black sex maniac or of the worst form would even want to showcase an image like this in a sermon, or have such an image being associated with a sermon. Here is the image of what is intended to be depicted as a naked, highly melanin or highly carbon skin, natural native earthly human. One of my sisters or brothers that this preacher and his society with disdain call black. Here, he or she is sitting very reluctantly, very painfully, or at the very least, very uncomfortably, if not being held down, in the lap of what could either be a black Caucasian male or female, or possibly a black Caucasian transgender humankind, and is either being tortured, poled, or impaled in the ass by this naked pale skin and black Caucasian something, while two other pale-skinned black Caucasian males, one noticeably partially naked with only a wrap around his private parts and the other fully clothed in a Caucasian suit, mockingly looked on, and both cheered with pleasure to their inhumane and perverted nature and their weird sense of delight and pleasure. From my perspective, this is an image of physical abuse, sexual abuse, rape, pornography, and sexual exploitation of one of my people by the true and real black ones, the black Caucasians, that is hereby being used in this pornographic video in a vile attempt to further slander and denigrate my ancestors and my people. That is the purpose of this image that is taken from what I call a pornographic video. Look very closely again at this image and notice how devious and diabolic the artist is, or the artists are, that drew or paint or doctored or photoshopped this image. Notice how they depict the victim, my natural native earthly human brother or sister, as being black beyond recognition or visibility, and as if he or she is being preyed upon by these three black Caucasians. This image, or the image, is designed to use by these cons. This image is designed and used by these cons and in their video to give the impression and to imprint upon the conscious and subconscious minds of the people of the world that it is my brother or sister who is the villain. When the truth being told, as most or any honest human can see, that he or she is the victim of a crime that is being committed against him or her by these three black Caucasians. Look very closely at this image, and in all honesty, please tell I the Mystic Philosopher, or if you are not honest enough to tell I the Mystic Philosopher, then to thine own self, please be true. Who is the real victim here? If 2 on 1 is murder, then the evidence is hereby showing that both rape, abuse, kidnapping, and possible lynching and murder were committed by the real black ones, these 3 black Caucasians. 1 on 1 of my ancestors, the natural native earthly human. So let me repeat. If 2 on 1 is murder, then the evidence in this image is hereby showing that both rape, abuse, kidnapping, and possible lynching, as is customary for them, and murder were committed by the real black ones, these 3 black Caucasians, on 1 of my ancestors, the natural native earthly human. The truth is, I find this image so disgusting that I just can't even comment on it any further. So please join me in part 7, where I will continue to decode and comment on hidden messages in another image, or on image number 7 from the preacher's propaganda video against my people, titled, "What Did Jesse Duplantis Say About Black People?" I am the Mystic Philosopher, and thanks for listening and watching.